All right, everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive.
Absolutely. Always excited to dig into these stories.
Today, it's all about transformation, a football club's journey from, drowning in debt to, splashing millions. We're talking about Brazil's Flamengo.
Yeah, they went from the brink of collapse to signing star players and even building their own stadium.
Pretty wild, right? And we've got this awesome article from globalesport.com laying it all out. It gives us a snapshot of where they are now and how they got there.
It's a pretty incredible story.
So where are they now? Give us the current picture.
Well, right now, Flamengo is sitting on about 45 million reais in cash.
Not bad at all.
But, and this is the kicker, they've also invested over 400 million reais just this year.
Wait, seriously? 400 million? What are they spending it on?
Well, 250 million went straight into buying players.
Wow.
Including their priciest signing ever, Argentinian midfielder Alcaraz.
They're not messing around.
And then there's another 165 million that went to buying land in the Metro area.
Metro. What's that about?
Their own stadium. They're building their own stadium.
Hold on. Didn't you say they were in debt before? Like a lot of debt.
Ah, yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? They still have a significant debt, about 363.8 million reais from, past deals.
Okay, so how on earth did they get from drowning in debt to spending it like they've got a money tree?
That's where the story gets really interesting. It all starts back in 2012. Imagine Flamengo, over 750 million reais in debt, no credibility, struggling to attract decent players, and heavily reliant on TV money.
Like really reliant.
55% of their income.
Oof, that's a lot of eggs in one basket. So what changed?
Well, a new president came in, Eduardo Bandeira de Mello. He was elected in 2012, and he came in with a plan, a three-phase plan to be exact.
Okay, 3 phases sounds intriguing. What was phase 1?
It was all about austerity from 2013 to 2015. Tightening the belt, cutting costs, getting that debt under control.
Sounds pretty sensible, but how do they actually do it?
Well, a few things came together. The Brazilian government introduced the Profit program, which was a big help.
Profit.
Yeah, it allowed clubs to restructure their tax debts, gave them some breathing room.
Okay, that makes sense.
And Bandeira de Mello, he was very good at negotiating favorable terms with the government. He was personally dedicated to it.
So a bit of luck with the program and a president who knew how to play the game, so to speak.
Exactly. But it wasn't just that. They also launched a membership program for their fans, the Nação Rubro-Negra.
The Nação Rubro-Negra, that's Flamengo's passionate fan base, right?
Yes, incredibly passionate.
And I bet that membership program brought in a decent chunk of change.
Oh, yeah. Their fan revenue went from 25 million reais to 83 million reais in just a year.
Wow, that's impressive. So they cut their reliance on TV money and got their fans more involved. Smart move.
Very smart. And that financial stability, well, that paved the way for phase 2, strategic investments.
Ah, so they started spending again, but hopefully a bit more carefully this time.
Much more carefully. From 2016 to 2018, they started bringing in key players, but only when their financial situation improved. Guys like Diego, Everton Ribeiro, and Vitinho.
Okay, some good signings there.
And then came the big one.
The big one.
They sold Vinicius Jr. to Real Madrid.
Oh, yeah, that was a huge deal.
Massive. It was for 45 million euros.
That must have been a game changer for their finances.
It was. And it wasn't just the money. It showed everyone that Flamengo was back, developing top talent.
So debt reduction, fan revenue, strategic signings, and a blockbuster sale. What was phase 3?
Phase 3, 2019, a new president, Rodolfo Lendem, comes in and says, we're going to be unbeatable. And he meant it.
Unbeatable, huh? Sounds expensive.
Oh, it was. They went on a spending spree, brought in Gabigol, Gerson, Bruno Henrique, Arrascaeta, Felipe Luis, all stars.
They're building a super team.
They were. Arrascaeta alone cost them a record 15 million euros.
Wow. They were going for it all. And they won, right?
They did. Copa Libertadores, Campeonato Brasileiro, Campeonato Carioca.
Talk about a return on investment. But again, was it sustainable?
Well, at the end of September 2019, their revenue was actually higher than their debt. But remember that big number from before?
Yeah, that 363 million?
They're still carrying that. So the question remains, can they keep spending like this?
Right. Can they keep winning and stay financially healthy? We'll have to see what the experts think.
Well, one expert, Mauro Cesar Pereira, he thinks Flamengo needs to be careful.
Careful? How so?
He says they need to balance the books by 2025. For the long term.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Even if they're doing well now, they can't just ignore that debt forever.
Exactly. But another analyst, Renato Mauricio Prado, he's got a different take.
Oh, What does he say?
Well, he thinks some of that spending, it was kind of unavoidable.
Unavoidable.
Yeah, like when Pedro and Cebollina got injured, Flamengo had to spend to replace them.
Right, I guess injuries can throw a wrench in the best laid plans.
Exactly. And Prado, he's impressed they have no bank debt, which is a good sign.
Yeah, that is a good sign.
But he says, to justify all the spending, they gotta keep winning.
Makes sense. If they're not bringing in trophies, that spending becomes harder to justify.
Exactly. It's a balancing act, isn't it? Ambition and, financial prudence.
Definitely. And Flamengo's story, it really is a reminder that things can change so quickly in football.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just a few years ago, they were struggling to attract any decent players. Now they're outbidding rivals for some of the best in South America.
And they did it by completely transforming their financial model, moving away from that heavy reliance on TV money.
Yeah, they got their fans involved, made them a part of the solution, really. Remember that Nación Rubro-Negra membership program?
Oh, yeah. Brilliant move. They turned their fans into a source of financial strength.
And it's paid off. Don't forget those amazing moments on the pitch.
That Copa Libertadores win in 2019? Unbelievable.
Magic. Pure magic. It's a reminder that financial stability, it's not just about the numbers. It's about creating a cycle, success on the pitch leading to more investment, more growth.
It's a virtuous cycle, I guess you could say. But even with careful planning, there are always going to be unexpected challenges.
Like those injuries we talked about.
Exactly. Stuff happens, and sometimes you just have to dig deep.
It's a constant dilemma for these top clubs, balancing long-term goals with short-term needs. Kind of like navigating a maze while riding a roller coaster.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
And it seems like the key takeaway is adaptability. Flamengo's story shows that there's no one right way to do things.
You got to be willing to make tough decisions, stay agile, keep reassessing.
And that's maybe the biggest lesson here, right? There's no magic formula, but Flamengo, they offer a really interesting blueprint.
For sure. I mean, that's a fascinating case study in how to build a club that's both successful and sustainable.
Absolutely. But it makes you wonder, can other clubs replicate this?
Right.
Especially in leagues where the financial gap is, it's getting bigger all the time.
It's a question worth exploring. What can other clubs learn from Flamengo? What are the challenges? What are the potential rewards?
So Flamengo, they pulled it off. But can other clubs, can they follow that same path?
It's a good model, a solid plan, but it's not like a recipe you can just copy.
Right. Every club is different.
Exactly. Each club has its own context, its own situation, its own fan base.
And probably its own level of temptation to just spend.
Yeah, that's a big one. You got to resist that urge, to just throw money at every problem.
So it's more about building things up slowly.
Yeah, making smart investments first, laying a solid foundation, and then maybe you can think about those big signings.
And of course, we saw how important the fans were for Flamengo.
Huge. That Nación Rubro-Negra, they were essential.
They basically became a financial powerhouse themselves.
Exactly. And it's a reminder that football, it's more than just a business. It's about community, shared passion.
Yeah, and Flamengo, they really tapped into that.
For sure. They made their fans a part of the solution, a part of the success story.
Okay, so let's say a club wants to become more financially stable, but they still want to win, compete at the top level.
Yeah.
What can they do? What are some concrete steps?
Well, first off, they got to diversify. Can't rely on just TV money or one source of income.
Makes sense.
Look at fan engagement programs, merchandising, strategic partnerships, that kind of thing.
Spread the risk a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah. And don't forget youth development.
Oh, right, like with Vinicius Jr.
Exactly. Bring up young players, maybe sell some, generate revenue.
And probably avoid those massive loans, right?
Absolutely. Responsible debt management is crucial. Got to think long term.
So it's not just about cutting costs. It's about investing smartly in all areas of the club.
Yeah, holistic approach. And that includes infrastructure.
Like Flamengo, building their own stadium.
That's a bold move, but it could pay off big time.
They'll have more control, more revenue.
And it strengthens their brand. It's a statement, they're here to stay.
They're thinking about the future, not just the next season.
Exactly. Flamengo's story, it's a great example of how a club can have it all. Financial stability and, winning trophies.
It's a story that's still unfolding, too. Who knows what they'll achieve next?
Exciting times for Flamengo. It'll be interesting to see how they navigate the next few years.
All right, well, that wraps up our deep dive into Flamengo's incredible journey. from debt-ridden to financial powerhouse.
A fascinating story, and one with some important lessons for clubs everywhere.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep the passion for the beautiful game alive.